agree. And you know me, I'm very fair. I say that there are 100 issues on which the government can be taken to task. Absolutely. There are 100 issues, including on economy. There are issues on which the government can be taken to task. But by being irresponsible, jumping onto what Trump says, you know, you've lost the opportunity. You've lost the audience. You've given the BJP a chance to attack you on being a Trump pyara and things like that.
I agree.
I got your point, Sanjay. Let me just bring...
Just 15 seconds. Just 15 seconds.
Yeah, quickly finish.
Rahul actually elaborated on that later to talk about crony capitalism, etc., which I think I was on a TV show and people even edited that. So it's not really completely fair, but I do agree with you that when you become a very popular face of the opposition, or if you're in government, or you're the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi
Sanjay, you know this well. Sanjay, you know this well. When we live in times of... bristling social media cells and spokespersons waiting to jump down your throat on everything. You know, Rahul Gandhi is doing the equivalent of giving the BJP a full toss every single day. That is the point. And he's damaging his own party by doing that. Charu, yes.
So maybe on a lighter note, Sanjay ji should coach Rahul Gandhi a little bit. Why don't you, Sanjay?
Sanjay tried. Sanjay has tried. And he actually got punished for it.
So, you know why I mentioned Arun Jaitley ji, Shiv? The reason is that I wanted to quote a pattern. So whether it is about national security, whether it is about any policy of Bharat Sarkar, whether it is about just levying allegations on the Election Commission and then running away, he does it all from the safety of a mic in hand, standing safe behind a podium. Do you have the courage to speak in Supreme Court, to place any kind of evidence on record? Do you have the courage to reply to the Election Commission? Right. Put your allegations down on paper. No, he doesn't. And that is the problem. So whether he says that Chaukidar Chor hai, or the entire Rafale issue, which was completely misrepresented and he had to apologize for it later, the problem with our leader of opposition is that he's got zero accountability and he thinks he can get away with it. I am sorry, you cannot. And Sanjay ji, everything that he says is here on video, on record for the entire world to see, not just India, not just us. So when he calls the Indian economy dead, when he makes blanket statements about everything and anything, I think you need to take a stand against these kind of statements. Like I said, he sits in the Indian Parliament. It is Indian citizens who voted him into that position of power, and he needs to take national security more seriously. And I will say this again. Quote our defense minister, quote our army, quote our military, and our leaders have clearly, very clearly, multiple times stated, whether in media briefings or in parliament, that no such thing happened. Yes, there was a tussle, but Indian army came out tops. Shiv himself was visiting there and I saw him do interviews from the location itself. So how can you just shoot off the mouth and then think you can hide behind your spokespersons and pretend nothing existed?
Is it an accountability issue according to you, Rajat? You know, these comments used to come thick and fast at one point of time. They were made before Rahul Gandhi was, became the leader of the opposition, and they're coming back to bite him now. But this is an accountability, entitlement issue, not really having paid the price for comments of this kind?
Certainly he hasn't paid the price because he carries a Gandhi behind as a surname. You remove that Gandhi and we'll see what he is and what he represents. First of all, he doesn't represent 42%. No India Alliance member today stands with him, even on his absolutely despicable remarks on India's economy. Even his own party people on record have said that what Donald Trump said was wrong. So I don't think he even has 40% of support within his own party. Forget about people of India. Again, he gets a long rope primarily because he's a Gandhi. And he assumes that he is the leader of opposition because nobody within the Congress party has the courage to actually stand up to this man. Even my dear friend Jha sir also couldn't stand up against him. Otherwise, he could have been a far better president of the Congress party than this man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
This is the challenge. Till the party doesn't erupt from within, such absolutely inept politicians will continue to lead the grand old party of this country and devoid India's rightful opposition, which could hold the government of the day to account. He does this and he loses the plot completely.
Sanjay, you know, you've been in the hot seat of defending the Congress party on principle on very, very difficult issues. It's actually kind of sad, and I want to know how you feel looking at this. You know, I understand where you come from in principle on many of these issues. He is leader of the opposition, but the entire Congress machinery is now just consumed with putting out these fires. constantly in damage control mode as a result of these sort of personal indulgences, if I may use that phrase, of Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah, Shiv, I completely agreed with your introduction that the government of Mr. Modi has got so many fault lines that, frankly speaking, the opposition is not frankly ahead in the race already. I think they are giving it on a silver platter to the BJP.
Exactly.
And that's, frankly speaking, not in the nation's interest as well. So here is my fundamental problem that the Congress, I think, keeps making from time to time. And Rahul, I can say it publicly on your program, he's got the right intentions. His heart is in the right place. But when you are in politics, when you are in a 24/7 live wire television,
Sanjay, how long
social
is that
media,
going to be said about Rahul Gandhi? How long is that going to be said? He has the right intentions.
Yeah, I agree with you that you have to be very prudent. I have always felt that politicians need to be circumspect, and political communication is the one fault line that very often gets good people to actually struggle and fall
Charu
behind
is
in the whole race.
vigorously shaking her head. She doesn't believe you when you say he's a man with right intentions. Charu, tell us why.
Absolutely not. He has lost close to 95 elections. And why? You cannot keep making excuses for a man who's old enough to be a grandfather already. I'm sorry, Sanjay ji. He needs to take responsibility, and more than that, all of Congress needs to stand against him and call him out. You need to do that, because if you all really want what is best for India, you have to play for Team India. You can't be on Team Pakistan one day, Team China another day, and Team USA the other day. When you have to speak in one voice for the nation, please understand that you can't keep weaponizing misinformation for petty political mileage. And that is what Rahul Gandhi is doing. You're weaponizing misinformation.
Rajat, final comment from you, then I'll end with Sanjay.
I think that Mr. Rahul Gandhi needs to love the country first before he makes public reckless remarks the way he does. Currently, I have enough evidence to come to a conclusion that his intentions are not right. He is a deeply anti-national person, and he has no right to be the leader of opposition of this country.
Absolutely.
Sanjay, I'm going to end with an interesting question for you. A prescription for Rahul Gandhi. Let's have a prescription. You've heard the BJP, you've heard Rajat. They say, no, you're wrong when you say that he's a man of right intentions. He has wrong intentions. The Supreme Court has kind of insinuated it. Rajat goes ahead and says he is anti-national. The BJP has held press conferences. You've seen what it's like in the political kitchen, as it were. But
Sure.
What would your advice be, Sanjay? I'm really interested in knowing what would your 5-point sort of prescription be for Rahul Gandhi, given that he's just gotten this tongue lashing from the Supreme Court today?
My prescription for Rahul Gandhi, and I've shared it with him personally quite often in the past, has been that please take every interaction with the public and the media extremely seriously. In fact, don't see it as a formidable threat, see it as a great opportunity. And, if you're making an impromptu statement, please remember that you're the leader of the opposition. You are a shadow prime minister, to be honest. And if you're going to be seen in that light, particularly on foreign policy and national security, you've got to weigh in your words, because it's not just watched by Indian media or the Indian public, it's watched globally. So I just feel that end of day, the only advice that I would give Rahul is that please be very cautious. And in fact, if you're smart, I actually recommended go to television channels, talk to podcasters, engage with people, because I think everyone wants to know the mind of the leader of the opposition. And we should never be, developing some kind of a prejudice or a bias based on whatever past experience or, supposed some kind of stereotyping. It's very important to engage. I have always felt that.
Yeah.
And Shiv, I'm sure you'll agree with me that if Rahul were to come and tell you that I want to sit with you for half an hour, 1 hour to give
I
you
would
one-on-one
love that,
on
except the
various
Congress
questions,
has
you would love it.
blacklisted me since September 2023.
Yeah, I
It's
think
weird.
we need to change that. No, we need to change that. That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel if the Congress and Rahul Gandhi just took on and addressed and spoke to the media, something that Mr. Modi doesn't do. In fact, I believe that Mr. Modi doesn't do press conferences. Rahul should actually have more freewheeling interviews. But here is the crux. You need to be very prepared. I think emotion and heart is in the right place. But Rajat Sethi and Charu Pragya have every right to rip Rahul apart.
I think
if he says something that falls for them,
look,
then he's speaking.
the kind of finger pointing over Rahul Gandhi's intentions that will continue in the political space. I can
That's
speak
normal.
from a citizenry's point of view as well. which is how long will these prescriptions going on? I understand that I'm the one who asked for it tonight, Sanjay. But, people will ask, how long is it going to take for Rahul Gandhi to, get things completely on track and, really pose a serious and credible challenge to the Modi government? Is that going to happen anytime soon?
Or
is the proverb that every time Rahul Gandhi wakes up in the morning, the BJP celebrates? Is that is that more true than untrue? Is the question that people are going to wonder about, since he has this predilection for jumping on issues that make him and the party look bad and trigger the kind of very surprising comments today from the Supreme Court. I'll have to end it there, but thank you very much, Charu, Sanjay and Rajat, for being with me on debate number 1 tonight on India Matters. We're taking a very quick break. On the other side, that ugly brawl at the Srinagar airport involving an army officer absolutely beating the hell out of SpiceJet staff. What happened? What triggered this ugly brawl? Do we have the full story? I'll tell you next.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
Finessa windows, beautiful and durable designs. इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनर फिनेस्टा।
जब मुंबई से वापस कोल्हापुर शिफ्ट हुआ तो सबने कहा कि ड्रीम सिटी को छोड़ रहा है। ड्रीम सिटी तो मैंने कहा ड्रीम में तो यही गलियां आती हैं। तो जब ये रियलाइज़ हुआ कि कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए बड़े शहर में रहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, तब लगा कि लाइफ में ग्रो किया। कशी ताई, ऐसे बॉय मिलते मुंबई में? चांस ही नहीं।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
फिनेसा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स। इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनेस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनर फिनेस्टा।
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Terry and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools and lead with impact. Starts August the 23rd. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
My birthday gift to Papa. ये उनके पापा की पहली गाड़ी एक गराज में पड़ी थी दार्जिलिंग में, फिर 3 मैकेनिक, पेंटिंग, पॉलिशिंग। जब इसे फाइनली घर लाया ना, तब लगा लाइफ में ग्रो किया है।
बुलाओ।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो।
प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Fine, finer, Finesta.
And that's why it's being said that after Kahuna Pyar Hai,
Yeah.
this is the film that has got two superstar debutants who are becoming superstars. But what was this faith that you had on these two that that shows on screen?
You don't plan to make a blockbuster. You plan to make a good film. And that's what I think they never let me, they didn't put that pressure on me to live up to. They never gave me a number that we have to hit or a so-called figure that I have to open to. There was all these trappings were just not there, which normally producers do end up putting that pressure. Then you make.
Viewer, I know you've seen the ugly video from the Srinagar airport that has gone completely viral. A serving army officer, the man in the orange t-shirt there, seen on camera brutally beating SpiceJet ground crew after he was stopped from boarding an allegedly overweight cabin bags. 4 airline staffers were injured, one with spinal injuries, one with a broken jaw. One says he cannot move his back. The police have filed an FIR. The army officer has filed a counter FIR. SpiceJet says it will put this officer on its no-fly list. The army has said it is cooperating in the investigation. It is a deeply troubling story, but it won't be dying down anytime soon. And that's because there's a larger simmering eruption. Army veterans are very, very angry about this story. Many concede that the Indian Army officers' actions were flat out wrong, yet they insist this is not a black and white story. They say there are two sides. They point to the ground staff who can be rude, rigid, and blind to context. Service personnel do face unusual situations. Emergencies happen. A little empathy can diffuse a lot, they say. That is the sentiment flooding my inbox since this weekend. Now, it does not for a moment excuse this violence. It does, however, demand we look at the system that nudges tempers to the edge, because an army officer behaving in this manner is not normal. My view is straightforward. What the officer did is totally wrong. The video is indefensible. There is an investigation and there should be consequences under the penal code and within the army's own disciplinary framework. Men who don the uniform earn respect through conduct. When that conduct fails in public view, the institution suffers. And yet, there is a message here that we should not dodge. Why did a trained officer feel the need to snap like that? What was the provocation? Was there miscommunication? Was there a procedural trap? Were policies applied inconsistently? Were the ground staff of SpiceJet rude and disrespectful? Was there even a whiff of contempt for the uniform at the gate? None of these questions, I repeat, absolves the assault itself. But they do help ensure it does not happen again. The episode has become a flashpoint between the military and civilian setups. Many in the veteran army community feel the military is not accorded the day-to-day respect and practical consideration it deserves for the work it does. Airlines also argue that rules are rules and staff safety is non-negotiable. Both can be true. The law must do its job on the facts of this case, but if we only treat it as a routine law and order scuffle at Srinagar airport, we will miss the deeper friction that keeps producing these scenes at airports and counters across the country. So here is the question tonight for all of us as we watch these viral videos go up. Are we a country that runs on narratives that flatten every story into hero and villain? Or can we allow the law to work on what happened while we also fix the human interfaces that keep failing? Accountability for the assault? Absolutely, 100%. But also accountability for the ecosystem that lets a boarding gate become a battleground.
SpiceJet Slapgate. An army officer on a rampage, airline staff left with a spinal fracture, jaw injuries. This army officer, Lieutenant Colonel Ritesh Kumar Singh, attacked 4 SpiceJet staff over payment for excess baggage. The incident took place at Srinagar Airport on July 26, and the video has gone viral ever since.
This incident, the senior army official who was involved and, threw hands at 4 members of the SpiceJet on-ground staff and brutally assaulted them in what SpiceJet calls is a murderous assault onto their 4 cabin crew members. This was a case of excess baggage wherein the army officer was carrying 16 kilos in hand luggage and he went ahead onto the aero bridge, which is a clear violation of the civil aviation safety protocols. It is then that he was escorted back to the gate by the CISF officials, and it is here that the army officials started throwing hands.
बोर्डिंग गेट के सामने इन्होंने कुछ सामान निकालना स्टार्ट किया, बट बहुत ज़्यादा रूरसली। इन्हें कुछ सामान उठा के सामने एक स्टाफ खड़ा था, पहले तो उनके ऊपर वो सामान फेंका, तो ये सडनली आए, बैग उठा के मेरे मुंह पे फेंका इन्होंने अपना, जो इनका वो बड़ा वाला बैग था, ट्रॉली बैग। तो उसके बाद उन्होंने मुझे पंचिंग, थप्पड़ वगैरह जो भी इनसे हो सकता था वो मुझे मारना स्टार्ट किया इन्होंने। लास्ट का मुझे याद है कि इन्होंने मुझे थप्पड़ मारा इधर पंच फेस पे।
While the army has also taken cognizance and is supporting the civil investigation, the officer too has filed a counter FIR against the staff. SpiceJet has also written to the Ministry of Civil Aviation, apprising them of the events of the incident, requesting appropriate action. With 2 FIRs filed in the incident from both parties, what exactly led to such snowballing of air rage is being investigated. Who is to blame, and what are the safety protocols in place to prevent such assaults? Tanushka Datta for NDTV.
So the question we're asking tonight, and you've seen all of these videos, and I will show you some more clips as well tonight, viewer. Number 1, can anything at all justify the army officer's brutal attack on the SpiceJet staff? Number 2, did the SpiceJet staff instigate or provoke the army man, or as someone are suggesting, did they throw the first punch? Number 3, army veterans, are they right to want a boycott of the SpiceJet airline? Number 4, is this a simple case of law and order, or is some sensitivity needed at boarding gates and by boarding staff of airlines? Number 5, is there special treatment required for soldiers after you watch this video? Are all equal? Those are the 5 questions I'm asking tonight. Let's go straight to our guest. Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia is a former Director General of Military Operations. He has called for a boycott of SpiceJet. Lieutenant General KJS Dhillon has flown out of the Srinagar airport many times in the past as well. He has strong views on this. And YN Sharma is CEO of Chimes Aviation. I want to go to you first, General Dhillon. Boycott SpiceJet has been trending today. Many senior veterans, including General Bhatia, have been calling for a boycott of this airline. From everything that you've heard so far, what is your take on this? Is this a one-sided narrative? Is SpiceJet to blame? Can the army officer escape punishment? Your answer, General Dhillon, first.
Good evening, Shiv, and good evening to General Bhatia and the fellow panelists and your viewers. First, I must start with the disclaimer or a claim that violence by anyone, the officer or the staff, violence by anyone is not acceptable, and Indian Army's judicial system is very, very stringent, very fast and very fair. They will look into this, and I'm very sure the JKP will look into the violence by the airport or the SpiceJet staff. So I start with this, that violence is not the rule, violence is not the answer, things should be sorted out easily. Now, having said that, we have all seen Srinagar airport, and we all have traveled, I don't know, any number of times. The maximum width of the airport, the departure lounge, is not more than 70-80 meters, and depth is not even 30 to 40 meters. And in between that, you have 3 to 4 gates on the ground floor and on the first floor. So if you are doing anything or saying anything, it is visible to everyone, even the next gate people. Point is, 26 July this happens, 3rd of August, an edited video, an edited story, a biased story comes out, where only the officer is shown throwing things at the airport staff or the SpiceJet staff, and the whole media laps it, and the whole social media laps it, and they started calling army officer, the army, the institution as well, all types of names and all types of things. Now, when the new videos have come out, in the evening there is another video comes out which very clearly shows the airport or the SpiceJet staff punching the officer first, and the CISF chap is trying to protect the officer. It was 1 versus 4, and they were all wanting to sort of pounce onto him. And the officer, in this case, even the most decent person by nature, what do you expect an army man to do in this case when four people are pouncing on you? On one hand, when it is Operation Sindoor, you want him to go out and kill the enemy. On the other hand, when it's a counter-terrorist operation, you want to show this man to show guts and protect the nation and the civilians and kill the terrorist. On the other hand, 4 of his countrymen are trying to pounce on him, and you want him to keep quiet. That was a natural reaction which any human would have in self-defense. Self-defense is not an offense as per the Indian laws.
The allegations are of doctored videos, edited videos, video versus video. YN Sharma, what is your take on this? Have we not seen the full videos that have come out so far? There are 2 FIRs also in this case. It's become narrative versus narrative rather than fact versus fact.
Absolutely. Now, what we have, I am also just reacting, seeing the videos which are put out there on social media. Definitively, nobody is saying whether it was the army personnel who landed the first punch or was it the staff. But one thing which is very, very clear in all these videos is that after the initial fracas, whatever happened, there is a CISF person who's sort of herding the officer away, and it is the SpiceJet staff which is repeatedly approaching the officer.
Yeah.
Look, nobody is condoning, and I say this for on a very lighter note, a 38, 39-year-old lieutenant colonel, if he can put 4 people in the hospital, then the defense of my country is in very, very good hands. Having said that, it is a person like him, you see him, he is being shepherded away by the CSF. Actually, the question to be asked here would also be to the CISF, that when something like this has happened and it's continued for 5-6 minutes, how is it that no reinforcements were called to, separate both the parties and keep them at bay from each other? We still don't know what was the provocation. There are allegations, one from the airline side, which says that, it was overweight, that excess baggage was there. The other side says that no, it wasn't there and it, the staff was ruled. Yeah. So you have one person's word against this other person's word right now. Having said that, the only thing I would say that I would have expected, being a trained, defense personnel, that some restraint would have been there in the punch that he had thrown. He practically put 2 people in hospital.
General Bhatia, some restraint from the army officer would have been expected, but we don't know what the provocation is. You've called for a boycott of SpiceJet. Tell us what your understanding of the provocation was. What happened that triggered such a violent attack? Okay, General Dhillon, I'll put that same question to you then. I know that many videos have come out. From what your understanding is, the public wants to know how things could have escalated to this extent, sir. We have the highest respect for the Indian Army. We know that Indian Army personnel will never do such a thing unless, terribly provoked to do so. What happened? Tell us that.
Shiv, what is coming out in the videos? Initially, the edited videos came out, SpiceJet version came out, and then the videos of earlier time frame came out, and now we know that who initiated. Now, if suppose this officer had not retaliated and he had taken all the blows, and now you remember Colonel Bhatt and his son?
Yeah.
When Punjab police people bashed the both father and son duo, and they didn't raise their hand, they bashed them black and blue, broke their ribs and bones, and left them on the road to die. and took away his iCard and his mobile, do you want a situation like this? Or do you want an officer serving in Kashmir to retaliate when he is being hit against or he is being hit? It is a natural self-defense which is acceptable by Indian law. In his self-defense, if he does something to protect him bodily, he is very much within his rights to protect himself. And that's exactly what he has done. And imagine if this is happening to a 38, 39-year-old boy. Suppose this was happening to some 70-year-old man who is with his daughter-in-law or is with his granddaughter or with his wife, and then they knock him down on the floor. What respect this whole nation will have for this type of a stuff? Hitting a man in front of wife and children. I am saying, and about Jal Bhatia's call for, SpiceJet boycott. As it is, this airline is going down. We don't need to, sort of boycott this airline. Hardly any aircrafts are in the air.
That's a
I respect Jal Bhatia's
I take your point.
And definitely, I'm not flying SpiceJet ever again.
I take your point. The anger is real, Mr. Sharma. The anger is real. Reasonable people, generals like General Dhillon, General Bhatia, they are not speaking out of emotion. There is a genuine sense of hurt because they've seen the army, they've been in the army, they feel that, nobody would have reacted like this unless really pushed to do so. And you've also said that, the CISF should have called some reinforcements and stopped this from spiraling out of control. Is there still some missing piece in this?
Walk ourselves through this. Okay, let's walk ourselves through this. Hypothetical situation, and again, unsubstantiated till now. Let's say that it was the army officers who landed a blow. What is the SOP which the ground staff is supposed to follow? Are they supposed to go and start fighting with them physically? They would have just said, okay, fine, now you hit us. We are going to make a complaint. We are going to, make sure you don't board and then, throw the book at you. That is how logically it should have gone forward. Right. Now here, my question is just this, Srinagar airport, one of the most secure airports, it's practically crawling with people in uniform at any given time. Right. And you have this fracas and you have one CISF guy who's sort of, just doing baisa and, pushing the, officer on one side. And as I said, I have yet to see the officer actually move forward to assault somebody.
You can see
you
the
only
CISF
see
moving
these
forward.
guys coming up to the officer.
Yeah.
Right. So, what General Saab was saying, what is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to just, sort of keep both his hands on his side and, take any blow? And what does it say about the training of the SpiceJet people?
Yeah.
That when something like this has happened, is it that, okay, fine, one of our boys has got hit, so the rest of them also try to, come in and start throwing blows? Is this how, even airline staff is supposed to behave? So I don't think anybody's come out, shining out of this.
General Dhillon, will all this go into whatever action is taken against this officer? The images speak. Like you said, in the media, the images are of this very violent attack. You say that there are edited clips, pictures of people on stretchers who've been, injured in this assault. From, there are FIRs that have been lodged. What will the army be doing about this, General Dhillon? Give us a perspective on that, because civil case will happen now. What about the army? The army says it's cooperating in the investigation. What will happen to this officer?
Shiv, as you are aware and as everyone on the panel is aware, Army has a very strong in-house mechanism to investigate judiciously and timely, as also to punish the person appropriately, much more than the civil courts probably.
Yeah.
Because we do not, in the Army, we do not take indiscipline at all. It has happened on the airport. It can tomorrow happen in the battlefield or in a counter-terrorist operations when they are going on. So we take these things very seriously. Having said that, our internal mechanisms of the army are very strong. The senior hierarchy is very, very, allergic to this type of indiscipline.
Yeah.
But all facts of the case will be taken into account.
Yeah.
The provocation will be taken into account. The self-defense will be taken into account. The officer trying to protect his own body harm will be taken into account. And also the officer's attack or the behavior later part will also be taken into account. Okay. There will be evidences taken of the eyewitnesses. There will be evidence taken of the digital evidence, electronic evidence, and then only the army will, and army courts don't decide on their own. There is a Colonel Sahib who will hear the whole thing, who will decide, or maybe a Brigadier Sahib,
Yes.
and then it goes right up to the army headquarters, a Major General, a Lieutenant General, a Army Commander, or Chief, and then the final punishment is awarded.
Yeah.
So it goes through all these channels of various service personnel with various hierarchy and seniority, who are matured people, and then the disciplinary action or the punishment is granted.
Okay.
So be rest assured, Army's internal mechanisms on legal aspects are very strong, and justice will be delivered within a few weeks, unlike our judicial system outside. So be rest assured on that. But having said that, I think it's a case of a self-defense, and especially after the identity has been proven or explained.
Yeah.
A murderous attack like this by 4 men on 1 person, totally uncalled for. Totally uncalled for.
Will justice be done? We are having some problems with General Bhatia's audio, so we're unable to go to it.
Give me 10 seconds. There are countries like USA where the veterans and the serving personnel are called first to board. And I have availed that facility. I have availed that privilege. They don't even say, no, you are not a US soldier, you don't come. They say, sir, if you are a serving soldier, please come up. If you are a veteran, please come up. And here we have SpiceJet trying to bash up an officer after his identity was known. So this is totally unacceptable, and I agree with General Bhatia.
General Bhatia, you want SpiceJet to be boycotted. Apologies coming to you late because we were fixing your audio. 60 seconds to you, sir.
Okay, 60 seconds. I'm fully in agreement with the two co-panelists. General Dinner, of course, a very experienced and respected military leader, and Mr. Mahesh Sharma. I think this is a case of extreme provocation. I have no doubt about it. And if a man can't defend his own dignity, his own honor, his self-respect, I don't expect him to defend the honor of the country, the task given to him. So that is my 60 seconds. I think let us not pre-decide. Your headline says, Army officer bashes up SpiceJet staff. I think it is misleading. It's not an army officer bashing up. It's an army officer defending his dignity. It's a dignity of the officer is very important. Dignity of soldier is very important. That's not of officer.
So I would like to say,
I think there's a media trial going on. We should stop that, and we should boycott SpiceJet for doing what they have done. Look at a man. Look, selective visuals always give you a wrong interpretation.
NDTV, the only network.
Let the investigation take place.
NDTV, sir, only network that is bringing you the full picture here. And I think you will all know that NDTV stands only with the facts and only on the truth. We do not indulge in narratives. All of you know me personally. You know how I feel about the Indian Army, and you know my sentiments about such stories as well. So we will continue to track it factually.
And we will 30 seconds.
Yes, 10 seconds, sir. 10 seconds.
Okay, you've been to Kashmir so many times. No one's supposed to take photographs out there. I was there. I told SpiceJet staff not to take photographs.
Okay.
But they would not agree. It is national security that's important.
There are many different layers to this story, sir. We will track it, I promise you, and we'll have you back on the show. Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma, General Dhillon, General Bhatia, for being with me on this. We've got some breaking news coming in. Trump is at it again. He has escalated. No ceasefire between Trump and India. He says India is profiting off Russian oil. He has escalated and intensified his attack over India's purchase of Russian oil and has threatened to substantially increase tariffs beyond the 25% already announced. He says India doesn't care about Ukrainians being killed. A very, very intemperate, volatile attack from President Trump. More muscle flexing as India and the United States negotiate towards a trade deal. This is Trump being the world's biggest loose cannon politician, pointing an angry finger at India and saying, get ready for the tariffs to go up once again because you're buying Russian oil and funding the Russia-Ukraine war. That's the big breaking story that we're bringing to you right now.
everyone, you're watching The Last Word and I am Maria Shakil. Rahul Gandhi was today rebuked by the Supreme Court even as it stayed proceedings in a criminal defamation case arising from a comment which Rahul had said, and I quote him, Chinese troops are thrashing Indian soldiers in Arunachal Pradesh. Remember this he had said during his Bharat Jodo Yatra. Did the leader of opposition actually cross the national line of control? That's the question that I ask on the show tonight. At 9:30 p.m., the next great SIR showdown, which is the Special Intensive Review Showdown. Home Minister Amit Shah and West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met their respective party MPs to discuss the controversial poll process. The question that we ask on the show tonight, will Bengal also see an SIR? But first up, a piece of breaking news that is coming in. And of course, this is coming at a time when the trade negotiations between India and US is ongoing. US President Donald Trump has launched a fresh tirade against India, announcing plans to substantially raise tariffs on Indian goods if re-elected. In fact, let's get the actual news which has just come in. It actually says, and I quote him, Donald Trump in a tweet has just put out in which he has said India is not only buying massive amounts of Russian oil, they are then for much of the oil purchased, selling it in open market for big profits. They don't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. Because of this, I will be substantially raising the tariff paid by India to the USA. Thank you for all your attention, President Donald Trump. Disha, how should this be read? I mean, this is only escalation coming in from Donald Trump.
Absolutely, Maria. This is absolutely baseless provocation coming from US President Trump. And this comes just 3 days before the Trump tariffs are actually supposed to take effect on the 7th of August. But really, again, another provocation. We saw just last week that President Trump said that he's going to impose not just the 25% tariffs, which is already quite a high percentage of tariffs as compared to a lot of other countries in Asia, from Bangladesh to Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and many of which US has reached deals with. But with India, he's imposed not just that 25% tariff, but also saying an additional penalty for India's purchases of Russian oil. But the fact that he's not just now said that India is buying this oil, but he's also accusing India of supporting the Russian war machinery, which is absolutely baseless. Because when you look at the Indian oil, who India exports this oil to, it is mainly the European countries. A majority of the oil that India takes from Russia, refines it and exporting it, is from European countries. But so that double standard really needs to be looked at, where on one hand European countries are giving aid to Ukraine, but now President Trump is saying that it is India who is supporting the war machinery. So absolutely baseless allegations from President Trump, but really a huge provocation given the fact that India-US trade negotiations are still ongoing. There's still talks going on to reach some sort of a pre-deal before the tariffs actually take effect. But again, another provocation, a pressure tactic, again weaponizing these tariffs against New Delhi.
Yes, Disha, a lot of questions that you're raising, rightly so. But what options does India have? And at a time that only last week, soon after Donald Trump announced 25% tariff, he went ahead and penalized 6 of Indian companies. There were sanctions announced against them.
Right. So again, another form of how President Trump is weaponizing sanctions, weaponizing these tariff and these trade tools against India to pressurize India to come to some sort of deal. But India has made its position clear that we are going to trade only on our own terms. We are not going to fall for these pressure tactics. And also the position is very clear that India-Russia ties cannot be seen through a third party's lens. India and Russia's relations are separate, and there's no need for other countries to use this relationship in a sense as a pressure tactic to benefit and reach some sort of trade deal. So that is what US President Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to, in a sense, now bring India into this whole tiff between US President Trump and Russian President Putin, which we've also been seeing unfolding in the last couple of days, where he's increased the pressure on President Putin to come to the table to reach some sort of ceasefire deal. But now also using that in a sense to get India to reach some sort of FTA deal, which is, again, a very extremely a provocation.
Yes, absolutely. And what kind of diplomatic talks are these if there is a president who's constantly taking to, Truth Social, as his platform is called, and threatening the other country? I mean, India will do trade not at the cost of its own interests. I mean, that's very well known. Disha Bagchi, our foreign affairs correspondent, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Shifting focus to our top story now. A political statement has met judicial scrutiny. The Supreme Court has pulled up Rahul Gandhi, asking him pointedly, and I quote the Supreme Court, "Why do you have to say this in media or social media posts? Were you there? How did you get to know that 2,000 square kilometers has been captured?" Unquote. This isn't just a legal poser. It's a moment of reckoning on accountability in political discourse, especially on matters of national security. At the heart of this debate lies a familiar fault line. Can elected representatives speak freely about military setbacks, or must they exercise restraint in the absence of hard proof? The government continues to deny any territorial loss. The army maintains operational secrecy, and now the court is demanding answers. Is this judicial caution then, or a quiet censure? And does this mean politicians will have to now back their claims with evidence, or risk losing the court of public trust and the court of law? Tonight, that's our top story. First up, what happened today, and then I bring in the guests.
Leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi is in the Supreme Court's line of fire. He came in a sharp rebuke by the top court over his comment that Chinese troops are thrashing Indian soldiers in Arunachal Pradesh. Rahul made the comment during the Bharat Jodo Yatra. The comment was in reference to the India-China face-off in Arunachal Pradesh's Tawang sector in December 2022. A bench of Justice Dipankar Datta and Justice A.G. Masih took strong exception to the remarks. The Congress MP had also claimed 2,000 square kilometre of Indian territory has since been occupied by China, and he blamed Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his government for the surrender. How did you get to know that 2,000 square kilometre of Indian land has been taken over by the Chinese? If you are a true Indian, you won't say all of this, Justice Datta said about Gandhi's remarks. Were you there? Do you have any credible material? The court asked him. Appearing for the Congress leader, senior advocate Abhishek Singhvi countered, if he can't say these things, how can he be leader of opposition? But Justice Datta shot back. Then why don't you say such things in Parliament? The court, however, stayed proceedings in a criminal defamation case. In May, the Allahabad High Court had rejected Rahul Gandhi's plea challenging a February summons that had been issued by a special court for elected representatives in Lucknow. The BJP, armed with scathing SC observations, attacked Rahul Gandhi and asked if he was suitable to be the leader of opposition.
राहुल गांधी जी ने देश का खिलाफ जो बार-बार बयान दे रहे हैं, ये सिर्फ सरकारी नहीं, विपक्ष के कई सदस्यों ने भी कहा है कि ये ठीक नहीं है.
Judges also we can question their loyalty to the nation. But that's not the right way to see the constitution.
The BJP has got another shot in the arms against Rahul Gandhi, who has been attacking the government on a number of issues. This is Aishwarya Jain for NDTV in Delhi.
And joining me on the show tonight, Rohan Gupta, representing the BJP. Adil Singh Boparai is the spokesperson of the Congress party. Major General Sanjay Meston is defense analyst, and Kapil Sankla is the advocate of the Supreme Court. Adil Singh Boparai, Rahul Gandhi has stood by his claim that 2,000 square kilometre of Indian territory is under Chinese control. But with the Supreme Court today asking him, how do you know, should the Congress then furnish concrete evidence or risk losing, public credibility on the issues of national security?
Well, good evening, Mara. I request for 90 seconds of uninterrupted time. Point number one, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been granted stay of proceedings. So as far as the Supreme Court is concerned, the Supreme Court agreed with his arguments on a prima facie level, issued notice to the respondent, and then granted stay of proceedings. So it is a victory of sorts as far as Mr. Gandhi is concerned, at least at this stage. Point number one. Point number two, let me take the issue head on. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, by way of a letter to the Speaker on the 2nd of December 2021, sought a discussion on the Chinese intrusion issue. Please see what the Speaker's office says. The Speaker's office, by way of a letter on the 10th of December 2021, rejects a request for a discussion. This is in response to the obiter dicta. This is in response to what transpires in the course of a discussion in a matter that Mr. Gandhi, why does he not raise this in the parliament? So therefore, this is incorrect. Mr. Gandhi has continuously been raising this issue on the floor of the House. However, the BJP and their dirty tricks department has been obstructing any discussion. This is point number two. Point number three, the proof of the matter. Now, please understand, this is plain English. The government had 30 rounds of discussions with the Chinese. You had the then army chief saying that we want to revert back to status quo ante. What does status quo ante mean? That we want to revert back to the position prior to the Galwan clash. What is this? What is the corollary from this? This means that post the Galwan crash, the Chinese had encroached upon our territory, and hence we had 30 rounds of discussions that please move out of our territory. If there has been anybody who has compromised with national sovereignty, it is the Prime Minister of this country, because he gave a clean check to the Chinese.
2,000 square kilometer. How is that number arrived at?
Also. There is satellite imagery. Your colleagues in the media. Your colleagues in the media.
So the media has spoken about it. Rohan Gupta, the question is, if the BJP feels and the government thinks that Rahul Gandhi's remarks are indeed misleading and potentially damaging to the morale of the armed forces, then why hasn't the government taken a legal route or tabled a white paper to counter such narratives officially?
Maria, I think what Supreme Court today has told is, it has summarized everything. I don't have to speak more than that because it's a matter of Supreme Court. But the basic point here is that as a leader of opposition, you need to be responsible. Yes, definitely you have right to question the government. Definitely you have the right to ask questions to government. But that doesn't mean that you reach to the conclusion and reduce the morale of our armed forces. If you are talking as a leader of opposition, you must have evidence in hand. You just cannot talk in air or just quote any media report, because media, even if sometimes media can also make mistake, and next day you will find that apology by media. But as a leader of opposition, you have to apologize to people of India, and you need to apologize to our army that just because of unverified sources, you are accusing our army somewhere. So I think, Maria, you need to understand a normal person speaking and leader of opposition speaking. Yes. There's a lot of difference. What gets added is responsibility. So what Supreme Court has told today is to be responsible as a leader of opposition and speak against government. Definitely you are right, but you need to have the proof to ensure that your claim is justified with that proof. But you just cannot talk in air and get away. I'll give you another example, Maria. Today, you see that election commission SIR process has been happening. Same thing is happening. You are questioning the constitutional institution without any evidence. And same thing is getting repeated. Same thing is repeated. Yes, you are in politics. It is right for you to question government, but not without evidences. Because you are losing the trust of people also. You are losing the trust of judiciary also. And if you continue doing this kind of activities, people will never trust you. Same with their allies, RJD, Tejasvi. You have seen what happened yesterday. He did the press conference and immediately election commission produced the evidence. Now he's quiet. Again, I'll give you last example, Maria, because this is very
I get your point. I get your point. Here are a number of questions which has been asked by the bench of Justices Dipankar Datta and George Massey. So, of course, this raises a lot of questions on public conduct, and particularly if you are speaking from a position of strength, such as leader of opposition. So,
can I respond back?
No, one moment. I'm going to take opening comments from everyone and then I come back to you, Adil. Major General Meston, do remarks like those made by Rahul Gandhi actually have some kind of tangible impact on troop morale and public confidence in the armed forces, or should the military institution remain above political commentary altogether?
Maria, good evening. I think the armed forces generally should remain above all these political statements. And, after hearing whatever has happened today in the Supreme Court, see, the fact of the matter is that any politician, I repeat the word any politician, one has to be very, very clear with their statements on conduct or, any discussion pertaining to national security and the armed forces. Now, supposing this word, it is definitely derogatory pitai. The word could have been used. The forces were attacked or they were fired upon. But pitai is a very derogatory remark, and I think no politician should ever use such remarks. That I am very clear. Number two is there has been also talk about some intrusion or 20,000 square kilometers of area. I think that also my remark would be luckily I have commanded my brigade here in Nathula. Then I was also the Colonel GS of a division in same Ladakh sector where I used to be looking after the operational aspects, including planning of patrols. And also as a brigadier, I was looking after the military operations directorate, the entire LAC with China. So whatever on ground situation is, and the remark made was status quo ante to be restored, the army chief was quoted. Now what does it imply? It implies, firstly, the arm, on the line of actual control, there are different perceptions of both sides. This is a factual aspect, and there are areas of difference and areas of dispute mutually agreed upon, most of them. So therefore, what we do is, we carry out our patrols up to our perceived line, and the Chinese carry on their patrollings up to their perceived line, and in between sometimes clashes used to occur, which is known as face-offs, and therefore, after Galwan, what happened in the number of corps commander talks to diffuse the situation? It was to de-escalate. So what decision was arrived? That in between those perceived areas, some kind of a buffer zone can be perhaps considered for the time being. And that is what the army chief was referring, that we'll go back to the status quo. And in this period, for example, PP14 or PP15, wherever our patrols used to go, it was decided that, you can use UAVs, etc. And these patrols were avoided. So that is not seizing territory. That is applicable for both the sides, both the Chinese side and the Indian side. Number three, I was also in a previous discussion where some remarks were made that some BJP MP from Arunachal has stated and the SP in Ladakh has stated. Now let me be very clear on ground. On ground, the deployment in the entire line of control is by the armed forces and the ITBP. For example, when I was commanding my brigade in Nathula, only people used to visit us in Nathula. No one ever came and neither can go to any of the posts. So as a brigade commander, I was responsible for my jurisdiction and I am aware on ground. Similarly, whether it is in Leh Ladakh, the SP never goes to those areas. Those are such remote, far-flung areas. Police has got no role. That is the role of the ITBP of the armed forces. So we are aware. So there has been no intrusion. It is only how one has put it across. There has been no intrusion. Whatever we were, for example, I was there in 2004 in the Ladakh area. Whatever it was, it is same. The same areas we will go and patrol once these de-escalation and all these things are decided. So that is what has happened. No territory has been at least yielded to the Chinese in any manner. Maria.
Okay. Kapil Sankla, does this observation by the Supreme Court actually set a precedent for general judicial scrutiny on statements which is made by public figures, or is it a one-off in the context of national security and military reputation?
No, in fact, the Honorable Supreme Court time and again has come down very heavily on political figures who have made loose statements. And unfortunately, I should not be saying this, but many of those recently have also been by Mr. Gandhi, including the Modi remark. Now, in this particular case, the Honorable Supreme Court has actually gone beyond that and asked very pertinent and very incisive questions as to the conduct of Mr. Gandhi, asking him, how do you know these figures? Where do you get these details? And the second most important thing, reminded Mr. Gandhi, as has been done in many other cases against many politicians, that the MP's privilege to make any statement, whatever he wants, is inside the parliament and not outside the parliament. Because outside the parliament, he can be held up to judicial scrutiny. The exceptional part here is to say that you can say anything else wherever you want in the parliament, but not on social media. Because if you make a statement outside the parliament, you need to back it up. Unfortunately, that statement has not been backed up, at least outside the parliament. I have been listening to my colleague who said that he has the information. But if his information is only other media reports, then that is a very weak kind of argument and a very poor narrative to make. In this particular case as well, it was stated that this is a victory of sorts. I don't really think so. Because this is a case of a criminal defamation where the test is very high, and the Honorable Supreme Court would, of course, like to test the case because of two legal arguments that were put forth by the counsel, Mr. Singhvi, and which were very pertinent. One, whether the person who has filed the defamation case is personally affected by the defamatory statements, and whether the second part of it is that it's a statement made by a political figure. So the Honorable Supreme Court asked him, and to paraphrase, can that be taken lightly? And the stay was granted on that second legal issue. In my view, that second legal issue, very shortly, is also that this statement was made against the Border Roads Organization. The gentleman who's filed this is the former director of Border Roads Organization. And the Mr. Modi judgment, which was there as to who can be affected, would come in favor of the complainant in this case. Okay. But that is my personal opinion.
Okay, let me go back to the two politicians on the show now, Rohan Gupta and Adil Singh Boparai. Adil, is the Congress party here guilty of politicizing sensitive military matters by making serious allegations in public forums, especially when such claims are now being questioned by the country's highest court?
Maria, it's a 3 versus 1 debate, so please give me some adequate time.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
You
have a lawyer of the Supreme Court who has an independent view. You have a former army man who has an independent view.
To make my submission, I respectfully disagree with you. Let's agree to disagree. Number one, and we've said this ad nauseum, let me repeat this again. Mr. Modi and the BJP is not India. I repeat, because perhaps it doesn't percolate down the BJP and their acolytes. Mr. Modi and the BJP is not India, number one. Mr. Modi is not the Indian army, number two. We respect the valor of our forces. Our grievance is against the political timidity of the government. So let's not conflate both these issues. These are two separate issues. Number one. Number two, if there was no encroachment or no incursion, then why did the Galwan clash take place? It doesn't stand to logic. Number three, if there was no encroachment and if we were not seeking status quo ante, then why did we have 30 rounds of discussions? Were we discussing New Year celebrations with the Chinese? Were we discussing how we should celebrate Christmas? Obviously, there was encroachment and hence we were seeking status quo ante. Let's not play verbal acrobatics. A simple translation of status quo ante would demonstrate that to your viewers. Number four, forget what I say. There is satellite imagery to buttress the point that right at the point of the Galwan clash, the Chinese had constructed an installation. There is satellite imagery. Let the BJP deny that satellite imagery. Number five, what does the leader of the opposition do if the speaker and the BJP doesn't let him speak on the issue on the floor of the House? If the BJP repeatedly obstructs our questions on the floor of the House, if the BJP MPs start moving privilege motions when we seek answers from the government, what are we required to do? What do you do in a democracy? I am sorry, we are not yes men. Fortunately, we still have a spine.
Respond to that. Rohan, valid points. Here one may say that if the leader of opposition is not getting a chance to speak inside parliament, then where should he speak?
Again, this claim is also not backed by the proof, right? If even this statement is made in public and tomorrow anybody files, again they will have to apologize because there are rules in parliament. And as per the rules, whenever leader of opposition is supposed to be, he has spoken. And BJP government, mind you, the government has challenged Congress party to come and tell under which rule he has been denied where he had right to speak. He will not answer, number one. Number two, very,
See
very
the
important thing. He's talking that we are not allowed to be, we don't allow them to speak in parliament. When Manipur debate happened, Congress forced for Manipur debate. Manipur debate, what happened? They did walk out. They wanted the debate on Sindoor. What happened? They walked out. So what is this? You are not serious about your politics. One more thing. Just 2 days back, leader of opposition tells our economic debt. Do you feel this statement can be justified from any source, anywhere? You tell me. So you cannot. That's the problem here. You definitely do your politics. But when you call Indian economic debt, you are insulting the hard work of 140 crore people. That is not allowed. You have to question other people who remain your country. And that is why Congress party is losing trust of people of this country. Again, I am coming to the basic point. You definitely have right to question the government. You definitely have rights to raise the issues. But not at the cost of the pride of the people or pride of the army. You need to justify with the proof. You call our economic debt. You question our army. You question everything. You question election commission. How will people trust you? What narrative you are setting? Just so-called darbaris, they just set up the narrative which is not sellable in the market. People don't like this kind of attitude. You have to back. You are a responsible person. You are just not a normal leader.
Quickly, 30 seconds. Let's wrap up this discussion and move ahead.
30 seconds for me, considering that Congress... Can I come in, please, Maria?
Yes, Adil.
Maria, the SP of Leh. Now, of course, the general said that we should discount what the SP of Leh is saying. The SP of Leh, who's a public servant, says this at the annual DGP meeting, that we've lost access to 26 out of the 65 patrolling points in eastern Ladakh. If he's lying, sack him. Take action against him. If he's lying, then why don't you not take action against him? The unfortunate problem in this country today, post-2014, is that people have lost their spine. They've become yes men. Hence, we are unlike the BJP. For us, patriotism means to stand by the country, not give clean chits to the Chinese. The BJP and the Prime Minister gave a clean chit to the Chinese, and we will continue to seek accountability. And finally, give us the opportunity to discuss this on the floor of the House. It is the BJP and the Speaker who denied us this opportunity. The BJP can't run with the hare and hunt with the hounds. They can't say, why are you raking it out outside the parliament when you don't give us an opportunity on the floor of the House?
Okay, General Meston, you wanted to come in. 30 seconds, please, quickly.
Yeah, Maria, firstly, I think a statement has been made that people lack spine. I think I can understand that it is for me, no, but anyway, I don't take offense to such comments. But let me clarify one thing. On ground, it has just been stated that Galwan, there was encroachment and that is why the clash happened. No, I will now ask the gentleman, 1967, since I have commanded my Nathula brigade and I went into detail, 1967, why did the Chinese attack and killed 67 of our troops in Nathula? Why? You know the reason for why is because Indian army was just putting a barbed wire fence and the Chinese fight, and thereafter, of course, India retaliated and we killed that 200. So now coming back to Galwan, there was no encroachment. We were going into the areas where it is our territory. We were doing some construction work. The Chinese opposed it because we were constructing the Shiok DBO axis, and that is why they objected it. We continued, and therefore the Chinese just came and fired upon. There was no encroachment.
Okay.
And that is why the Galwan clash
All
took
right.
place. Number three. Since the
Quickly,
statement has also been made on 30-round talks. The 30-round talks have taken not for picnics or anything. Let's use a correct military language. It was used for de-escalation. And that is why, though perceived areas of differences, that is why the buffer zone was created. And that is why the UAVs and etc. it was decided there go in patrol areas. And that is why the chief had remarked that we are looking at a time frame when the status quo is retained. That means the Chinese also go to patrol their area where their perception was, and the Indian army also patrols to their areas where our perception for. Live example is PP 15, 14, 11, etc. So let us not hear wrong statements. And as regards the SP is concerned, I can challenge this SP if he has walked every post in Ladakh sector. No, the answer is no. The ITBP and the Indian army is deployed. So let us not go.
I think that should answer all the questions that were being raised by Adil Singh Boparai. General Meston, pleasure having you on my show. Adil Singh Boparai, Rohan Gupta and Kapil Sankla, thank you so much for joining us. We are slipping into a short break. Coming up next would be, why is Mamata Banerjee raising the issue of SIR, Special Intensive Revision, which has just concluded in Bihar? because she thinks that it will happen in Bengal next year.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
जब मुंबई से वापस कोल्हापुर शिफ्ट हुआ तो सबने कहा कि ड्रीम सिटी को छोड़ रहा है। ड्रीम सिटी, तो मैंने कहा ड्रीम में तो यही गलियां आती हैं। तो जब ये रियलाइज़ हुआ कि कुछ बड़ा करने के लिए बड़े शहर में रहने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, तब लगा कि लाइफ में ग्रो किया। कशित आई, ऐसे बॉय मिलते मुंबई में, चांस ही नहीं।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो। प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
फाइनर फिनिस्टा।
हेलो, बोलिए मैडम। डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा।
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैडम एक बात को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
You know, first when Sayyara released and we as audience realized, oh my God, what is happening? You know, when did you realize it? Like, it's like, I didn't expect this, what is happening? Like that wave that hits you.
You know, the first thing that really hit me, I'm telling you, was a month back actually, to be honest, is when Adisa saw the film. And he saw a very loose cut and he decided the release date. But he was always, like me and Akshay were so into making the film, I think, along with Sumanna and all. Sometimes when you're so into it and you don't realize, you don't see it from, and then he saw it from a third person perspective. I mean, he was always super confident about the film. And he had actually had this talk with me about how I've done. And yeah, we all grew up. I was in the 8th grade when I saw Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge and said I want to make a love story like this. For a person like him to say that, you've made a great film. All he had asked for me was to make your best film for me. And I did, and I'm just glad that, so that was the first thing, and that validation was great. I wasn't shouting over the roof for it. It gives you a lot of confidence at that moment,
Absolutely.
for the person who's actually put his money where it is, and he wasn't talking about anything else, but on a very unassembled film at that time, could feel the emotion and be.
The special intensive revision battle has now shifted from Bihar to Bengal. Trinamool Congress Supremo Mamata Banerjee today held a virtual meeting with all party MPs from the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. A mega virtual meeting led by the party's National General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee with around 9,000 leaders and party workers from MPs to bloc presidents will be held tomorrow as well. The meetings were called following recent instructions from the Election Commission of India to Bengal's Chief Electoral Officer Manoj Agarwal to begin the SIR preparations. The message from the TMC is loud and clear that they will be going all out to oppose this intensive revision. The opposition BJP also had its rounds of meetings, with Home Minister Amit Shah chairing a meeting attended by party leaders from Bengal. Bengal BJP leaders like Samik Bhattacharya and Shuvendu Adhikari have repeatedly said that their party, that is the BJP, which is the principal opposition in Bengal, would ensure that all ineligible voters, including the Rohingya and Bangladeshi Muslims, were removed from the rolls. First up the story, and then I bring in the guests.
With the Trinamool Congress and the BJP in a huddle in New Delhi, the political temperature escalated in West Bengal, as all eyes were on the meetings being carried out by political rivals Amit Shah and Mamata Banerjee to put their houses in order. With the special intensive revision looming over Bengal, Mamata Banerjee shifted gears, instructing her MPs to go all out against the NDA on this issue inside the parliament without skipping the contentious NRC. In the coming days, the Trinamool Congress is going to escalate the political fight against the BJP over the special intensive revision that was just conducted in Bihar, with it looming over West Bengal with elections scheduled early next year. The TMC is also going to be raising the NRC issue to fight the BJP. The Trinamool Congress Supremo Mamata Banerjee has asked her party leaders to continue their fight against the BJP inside the parliament, while asking their leaders not to fight amongst themselves. Sources in the TMC said during the virtual meeting, the party Supremo lauded her Rajya Sabha MPs for keeping the house in order. She elevated Abhishek Banerjee as the parliamentary party leader on the floor of the LoC Sabha, but is yet to pacify a sulking Kalyan Banerjee, who quit the post of the chief whip.
There are allegations, sir. This is a Narendra Modi Sarkar is almost in the ventilator. You can see from the different reasons. So naturally they can't do anything. They cannot provide employment to the unemployed youth. That is the reason SSC examination has been withheld, and is a bad intention, motivated intention. And because they are BJP peoples are not that educated that they will get the employment. They know about that. It is the Narendra Modi Sarkar has gone to ventilation.
But TMC's principal challenger, the BJP, also has the task cut out for them, as Home Minister Amit Shah met the BJP MPs of Bengal along with the organizational office bearers in New Delhi.
I'll not be able to say what Mamata Banerjee is going to tell her MPs and MLAs. She can say anything, but the thing is that reality is that the people of Bengal are desperately trying to get rid of this Mamata Banerjee's government. It doesn't really matter, what she says and what strategy she takes. But yes, our honourable MPs have been are scheduled to meet our honourable HM. He has been, the Chanakya of our country. So we are looking forward to the strategy and the way to, move forward.
As political strategy is being set in both the TMC and BJP, the war of words continues in the sideline.
तृणमूल कांग्रेस अभी जो बांग्ला भाषा लेके लड़ रहा है, वो तो सिर्फ बांग्लादेशी मुसलमान घुसपैठी के लिए लड़ रहा है. उनका डर है जो बांग्लादेशी मुसलमान घुसपैठी का नाम निकल जाएगा तो 100% उनका वोटर लिस्ट से निकल जाएगा. और इसीलिए बांग्ला भाषा का आड़ में उन्होंने बांग्लादेशी मुसलमान घुसपैठी को रक्षा करने के लिए बांग्ला भाषा चिल्ला रहा है.
Well, the BJP is leaving no stone unturned to hit out at Trinamool Congress party over this SIR issue. The party has decided, the party leadership across its length and breadth will contribute to bring Bengal election more fairer in days to come. With camera person Jidi Shankar, Shreyoshi De and Ritik Mondal for NDTV.
We have Wing Commander Anuma Acharya representing the Congress. Tausifur Rahman is spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Rohan Gupta of the BJP continues to be with us. Jayanta Ghoshal is consulting editor NDTV, and Amitabh Tiwari is a political strategist. Amitabh Tiwari, beginning with you, what impact will an SIR exercise similar to the one that we have seen in Bihar, which has led to deletion of 66 lakh people, have in Bengal?
No, essentially the Bihar SIR exercise clearly shows that there are significant errors in the electoral rolls across states. Correct. The question of illegal immigrants or illegal citizens or foreigners who are on the list. We have people in Bihar on the list who have died and who have permanently shifted out. So an SIR type of exercise is required not only for Bihar or Bengal, it is required for the entire country because of these errors, glaring errors in the electoral rolls. And by next Lok Sabha, I believe, when we have the next 20 state elections in this cycle, the Election Commission will be conducting this across states with an aim to remove the errors which are prevalent on the roll. So it is, I think, a fair exercise in that sense. On the question of illegal immigrants, we've seen that in Bihar, the number of illegal immigrants or illegal citizens or voters who have been removed from the voter list is not yet out. So I'm not sure, given the fact that the Supreme Court has said that the Election Commission cannot decide on the citizenship issue, how will this play out in Bengal?
Okay.
However, for normal dead people and people who have shifted out
Yes.
or having double ECI voter cards, I think this is
Yes,
a fair
but
exercise.
you know, Amitabh Tiwari, while it appears to be about deletion of those who do not exist in the list, you know, in case of Bihar, there is a significant percentage of those who have died. But there is also the larger question of why a revision is happening just 1 month before the elections when people do not have much time for even appeal. So, Jayanto Ghoshal, given the kind of belligerence which has been displayed by Mamata Banerjee, and she has almost read the riot act, that there would be a complete boycott of this exercise, that they will be going all out to ensure that there is no exercise conducted in Bengal at all. Can she really do that? You know, because in case of Bihar, while the exercise is ongoing, the parties have taken a legal route and have challenged it in the Supreme Court. Mamata Banerjee here is saying that she will be taking to the streets and opposing it.
Yeah, that will be political, Maria. But,
yes,
you know, Supreme Court has said that this process will continue. You cannot stop this process. Election Commission is saying that it is nothing unusual. Last time also it took place and you cannot stop it. And now the BJP leadership in West Bengal, they are saying that Mamata Banerjee raised the issue of illegal entry of the voters from Rajasthan and all several other states, and BJP is trying to do that. Now, BJP is saying that on the basis of that allegation, Mamata Banerjee should welcome this move because now doodh ka doodh, pani ki pani, I mean the taste of the pudding, it will be in eating. So why you are bothered? My analysis, irrespective of party line, that this deletion of voters from the list, Mamata Banerjee is apprehensive that there may be a huge deletion. And Mamata Banerjee is saying that it will be conspiracy. BJP is saying that it is the illegal voters, no legal voters will be deleted. So it's a political controversy. But BJP this time, that is very important point, that BJP was busy with Jai Sri Ram, all this Hindutva narratives. Now this election, before this election, you know, a lot of people, they don't know. Yesterday, Sunday, there is a meeting in BJP office only on this exercise. And this time, they are saying that the main problem of BJP is that, you know, we talk about BLO, I mean the booth level officers, but that is election commission part. But the booth level agents, that is a political party's recruitment, like in Bihar, JDU, BLA, BJP, BLA. So BJP's main problem is lack of membership. This time, with the help of RSS, they are trying to send all these BLAs and they have made a list. Today, they have submitted a name of the dead persons, dead voters. Election Commission is saying that we need the death certificate of the people, and BJP is meeting, the local people are meeting with the families and trying to get the certification. The exercise last time I have not seen in that BJP.
Okay, so let BJP respond to that.
This time Mamta is apprehensive on that, and as Mamta is a smart politician, she is aggressive. But one thing, just one point, that we should not mix up two issues. These are Bengali issues. From the outside, this issue is different. Mamta is more aggressive on that, but voter list revision, she cannot say no.
Maria, the main point that other panelists told, that this is a normal process of election commission. And absolutely nobody should question the process, because the objective is very clear, is to cleanse the voter roll. And that is what the opposition parties have been questioning, that Maharashtra, this happened, illegal voters were there, people were added, people were removed. So now election commission is transparently doing the process. And in Bihar, the way transparently the numbers have come out, that 65 lakh people list has been given to opposition parties, to all the parties, to give their comments. The draft list is out. So this is the process which is laid down. As per the rules, they are following the rules. Why there should be a political issue on that? You should not link politics with the work of the constitutional institution. They are doing their job. I think we all should respect that. We should not mix up politics. Yeah, at the same time, you feel that there is a evidence of something wrongdoing by anybody, rather than just doing political allegations, you should go with the evidence and tell election commission, see, this is something wrong. I must tell you that in Bihar, after election commission gave list of 65 lakh voters to opposition party, till now when we are talking, there is not even a single complaint which has been filed to election commission of anything wrongdoing. Number one. Number two, when the draft voter list is out, anybody has issue with that draft voter list, somebody's name is not there, or somebody's name is wrongly written, or any other issue, they can definitely go back to election commission. You have 1 month. So what is wrong? Number three, see the mindset of opposition leaders. They are just making people fear about these things. Tejasvi Yadav does the press conference day before. He comes out that my name is not there. When election commission tells him, okay, this is the number, your name is there, this is the evidence. After that, they are keeping mum.
Yes.
And
so
in people, they will go into agitation.
The polling booth number had changed. So that was the reason. Perhaps in number of cases, the booth number has shifted. So that is also the case, because I know of a lot of people who are going through that list and they find their name in another booth. Yes, Anumacharya, you know, the fact is that the Supreme Court has not stayed this entire process. The process is going to continue. The best that the opposition can do is not generate this fear against this entire electoral process. It's a democratic right of every citizen to go out and cast their vote. While you may have concerns, take your battle to the right platform. Why make it about street fights?
Maria, let me tell you, I invite you to Bihar, and I am day in and day out doing this from 1st August onwards.
You don't have to invite me to Bihar. I've seen and I know everything about that state. When I say that there are a number of booths that have changed, I know about families. These are members of my family. So please go ahead, explain.
Would you please just keep mum for some time? I am showing you my video, which I have recorded on the spot, wherein from one polling booth, we found 99 voters' name deleted. There are total 26 lakh voters found dead. They are saying they are dead. So can you imagine, was there an epidemic or something that 26 lakh voters can be deleted? This is my one video. The other one is the timeline of my Twitter handle. And I am definitely going to refer to this, because there are 20,000 voters who have been deleted. And let me also tell you, you're talking about this was successfully done. Let me tell you that when we are here, when we go to the BLO and we are asking what is the reason of deletion, because the reason of deletion is not given in the list. Today I have lodged a complaint in the electoral office of Hajipur. So let me tell you, all whatever is being cooked up here, whatever BJP has done, whatever election commission has done, there is absolutely flawed entire process is the flawed process. And this is something wherein the BLO tells us that since on 25th of July, we could not fulfill the entire list and entire booth. So I was told to delete all of them. DCLR told them. DCLR is the
Ms. Acharya, so what is the option before you? Can this deletion of those 90 people that you're talking about, can their names be brought back to the list?
Are you listening to me? I said 20,000 people from one assembly, and we are doing the process. We are just going there because Form 6 will be filled up. We are producing all those people. 20,000 people we have to produce before the election commission, and everywhere we have demanded for a shivir so that those names can be reinducted. Meaning, what they have done it, they have deleted whatever they could not upload as on 25th July. And after that, they want us to do everything again. That means they are engaging the entire opposition only in doing this. And after that, from 1st of September onwards, when will they start uploading the new names, like the names which were deleted, they are coming as new names.
Yes, so this point that has been made
15 days, you are
by
not
Anuma Acharya is a valid
you
one.
You have already made up your mind. You are not listening to me. What the problem?
Ma'am, I've heard you. I've heard you very patiently, so don't say anything like that. Please be careful. This is completely wrong on your part to make these allegations.
I am not wrong, and I am on ground. Don't behave like somebody who has already made up her mind. Please do not do that, because I will challenge you, because you don't know what is happening over here.
I am very well aware of what is happening.
Let me very clearly tell you.
Because you're talking about a state.
I'm going to report this.
You're talking about a state, ma'am. With all due respect, I belong to that state. I was born in that state and I travel to that state regularly.
It doesn't give you any authority to whatever is going wrong. You cannot say
I talk about the wrongs in my state as much as I talk about the right in my state. Tausifur Rahman, come in now. Mamta Banerjee, the question really is, why should these fights be taken to the streets? You have a petition before the Supreme Court, just as the RJD has, just as other political parties have this petition. If the Supreme Court has not stayed this exercise and the exercise will continue, why generate this fear in the mind of people? Why not ensure that all those who are wrongly in this list are deleted and the actual voter list is there before us?
Good evening, Margaret, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I thought I won't be able to speak, or I won't be allowed to speak as I'm from Bengal. The problem, Maria ji, is very simple. I mean, I can show it to you right now. I mean, the procedure and the kind of procedure what SIR is following, I want to know the reality. What is the procedure of SIR? Insulting the Bengal and the Bengalis, saying outside Bengal or inside Bengal? Or just to follow the procedure of SIR? I mean, I'll show you something. What is this, Maria ji? How you want me to say that we should not interfere on anything? Whether Amit Malviya, the head of IT cell of BJP, is saying that there is in fact no language for Bengali. There is a harassment stories coming back to back, Malviya. What do you want me to do? Look at this. Chanakyapuri mein case hua hai. Tell me something. What is the purpose behind SIR and adding up to insulting and harassing the Bengalis? I mean, we respect the election commission, Malviya. I'm telling you. Take it as a threat. I'm giving it to BJP. Take it as a threat or an advice. We respect the election commission, but let election commission be election commission, not a BJP commission of India. I mean, the timing of this special intensive revision just before key election in Bengal and Bihar is no coincidence. What nonsense is this? It is a calculated conspiracy rattled by their internal surveys predicting just 46 to 49 seats in Bengal. Now, this is the reality.
All right, there seems to be some problem with Tausifur Rahman's link, but Rohan Gupta, the concerns that have been raised by Anuma Acharya, because she is on ground, she is raising those concerns, in several districts of Bihar, a huge number of deletion is there. That has to be addressed. I mean, they are genuine voters. The names of voters have to be brought back to that list so that they are not disenfranchised. They get their right to vote.
Absolutely, Maria, and that's what I told. It's definitely a process, and everybody has right to get their vote enrolled in the voter list if it's not there. And that's why the list which is published by Election Commission is a draft list. There is one more month to go, Maria. anybody's name is left out, 65 lakh people list has been given, anybody's name is left out, that can be added. And at the same time, when you are making political slugfest against BJP, definitely you produce that evidence in front of media that these are the people whose name have been left out, or maybe deliberately something is done. But my point here is you cannot question the whole process. And when Supreme Court themselves...
You can question the whole process, Rohan. The timing of this process in Bihar is something that is questionable, and it will be questioned.
It is always 22 years before it was done, and it is as per the rules. They are doing
it was done 22 years ago when there were 2 years left for the elections. It was done in 2003. The elections happened in 2005.
I'll tell you, when it was done in 2003, it was done in 15 days. This time it was completed in 30 days. In 30 days, 99% of the voters, they have been verified. 7% voter, the list 65 lakh has been given. 1 month has been given. Again, I am challenging whatever wrong is done. Definitely it should be produced in terms of media.
You get the last word on the last word tonight. Please go ahead, ma'am.
See, the thing is, 65 voters deletion, 26 lakh people dead in last 8 months. Do you believe that this can be true? This is not true in any case, and in any case, we are going to produce everything in front of you. But Supreme Court should take, automatically they should take cognizance of this. I have been tagging them, I have been writing about it, and we are going to produce everything black and white. But unfortunately, even then, the Election Commission will continue to do that, and which is wrongdoing. I must tell you, we have taken out, between yesterday and today, we have taken out 130 people, which were all of them are, their names have been deleted, and 2 of them were shown as dead. I have their pictures also, I have their photo of that thing also. So that all is available with us. So please do not say this is the good thing. I am right here. I can invite you over here.
Annamacharya, thank you for so much for joining us. Tasifur Rahman, Amitabh Tiwari, Rohan Gupta and Jayanto Ghoshal on the show tonight. Of course, we haven't heard the last word on the special intensive revision which is ongoing. Bihar chapter may be in the last leg. Bengal chapter is just about beginning, and several states across the country will be witnessing similar exercise. That's all from me on this edition of The Last Word. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.
My birthday gift to Papa. ये उनके पापा की पहली गाड़ी एक गराज में पड़ी थी दार्जिलिंग में, फिर 3 मैकेनिक, पेंटिंग, पॉलिशिंग। जब इसे फाइनली घर लाया ना, तब लगा लाइफ में ग्रो किया है। बुलाओ।
SIP करो, इन्वेस्ट करो, लाइफ में ग्रो करो। प्रतिभूति बाजार में निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। निवेश करने से पहले सभी संबंधित दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
फिनिस्टा विंडोज, ब्यूटीफुल एंड ड्यूरेबल डिजाइन्स, इंस्टॉलेशन से मेंटेनेंस की लाइफ लॉन्ग कस्टमर सर्विस। आपके घर में फिनिस्टा नहीं है तो कॉल कीजिए।
Fine, finer, Finesta.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola? Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edappadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
Mohit, you are known for your music. all your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial and those music are kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much you give, how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. That's how long the song.
Good evening and welcome to a very special episode of Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. We are reporting from Tel Aviv in Israel. On the 7th of October 2023, in one of the most horrific terror attacks that the world has seen, 1,200 Israeli nationals and foreign nationals were killed. More than 250 people were taken hostage. And we are here today to reflect on the situation in West Asia. On the one hand, the hostage crisis continues. There have been reports that approximately 50 hostages are still alive. And the government of Israel says that for there to be any peace with Gaza, with the Palestinians, these hostages must return. On the other hand, there are several reports coming in on the situation in Gaza itself, reports of potential starvation, reports on the condition of people, and a deteriorating humanitarian crisis. It's a difficult situation because if you look at the use of the word humanity, it's been used on both sides. On the one hand, it's been used by people in Israel to say, in the name of humanity, let the hostages go, let there be peace. But on the other hand, the word humanity is being used by those in Gaza as well. People saying that in the name of humanity, let there not be starvation. Now, here in Tel Aviv, there are strong denials of any state-sponsored effort at starving people in Gaza. They say that these are carefully calibrated plans of the Hamas itself in that region. But the fact of the situation is that this is now an intractable scenario. On the one hand, there may be some talks which are going on between Hamas, Qatar, Egypt and the United States for there to be some sort of a solution to this crisis. But the progress of that has been very slow. At this juncture, the situation is a crisis as much as it has been since 2023. Unless there is a ceasefire on the ground, the humanitarian situation in Gaza can only deteriorate, and the cry to release hostages, which is a very big one over here in Israel, will only get louder. It's been years now since so many hostages continue to be in Gaza, having been captured by Hamas terrorists in one of the most audacious, atrocious actions that we've seen anywhere. But I think what a lot of people want to know about, A, the condition of the hostages, when they'll be relieved, the families will be relieved of their anxiety, when these hostages will be released. Ambassador Daniel Sheikh is somebody who works very closely with the families. The entire effort to try and release the hostages. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us. I'm actually at the building where you work, and the reason we are going up these stairs is because I find all around there are photographs of those who continue to be in captivity by Hamas. You deal with the families, you work very closely with them. I can't even begin to understand the horror which many families continue to face. These are deep psychological scars, financial scars, other issues. How do you work with these families? It must be very difficult for you.
We're a civil society organization. The people you met in this building are all volunteers. And we didn't expect this to take so long. But we will stay here until the very last of these faces is checked off as having come home. Obviously, families of the hostages who haven't yet come home, who have yesterday